The phrase "over the top" is a common English expression used to describe something that is excessive, exaggerated, or more extreme than necessary. When people say something is over the top, they usually mean that it goes beyond normal limits or expectations. The expression can refer to behavior, emotions, decorations, reactions, or even performances that seem too dramatic or too intense for the situation. In everyday conversation, the phrase often describes actions that are exaggerated or unnecessary. For example, someone might say a celebration was over the top if it included extravagant decorations, loud entertainment, and expensive arrangements far beyond what was expected. Similarly, a person's reaction might be described this way if they respond with extreme anger or excitement to a relatively small situation. The phrase can sometimes have a negative meaning, suggesting that something is excessive or inappropriate. For instance, if someone speaks in a very dramatic way or reacts too strongly to a minor problem, others might say their behavior is over the top. In this sense, the expression highlights the idea that the reaction is disproportionate to the situation and may feel uncomfortable or unrealistic to observers. However, over the top does not always carry a negative tone. In some contexts, it can be used positively to describe something impressively bold, creative, or entertaining. For example, a movie performance or stage production might be described as over the top if it is full of energy, dramatic expression, and striking visuals. In these cases, the exaggeration can make the experience more exciting and memorable. The origin of the phrase has historical connections to military language. During World War I, soldiers used the phrase "going over the top" to describe climbing out of their trenches and moving forward into battle across enemy territory. This action required great courage and involved leaving the relative safety of the trench. Over time, the phrase evolved in everyday English to describe actions that go beyond normal limits or involve dramatic steps. In modern language, the phrase appears frequently in discussions about entertainment, fashion, and personality. For example, a costume at a party might be called over the top if it is extremely elaborate. A comedian might intentionally use exaggerated expressions or gestures to create humor. The phrase therefore reflects how people often push boundaries in creative or emotional ways. In conclusion, the expression "over the top" refers to something that goes beyond ordinary limits, often in an exaggerated or extreme way. While it can sometimes suggest unnecessary excess, it can also describe bold creativity or energetic expression. The phrase illustrates how language captures the idea of crossing boundaries, whether in behavior, emotion, or artistic performance.